Good morning. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House. And we are so happy that you're here. If you've not been with us before, then we should probably tell you that Caregiver Crossing is a podcast that's created just for you, the caregiver. I'm Tina McIntosh.
I'm Terry Stacy, and we're here every week. We bring you experts from across the country, providing comfort and resources for sure, and hopefully a lot of joy to our caregivers. This podcast serves to really embrace family caregivers of today and also for tomorrow. So we're glad you're here. Tina?
All right. I'm being interrupted by dogs, Terry. I know this is a bad interruption
okay.
to our introduction here, but
it's okay. Shall I carry on? Or are you okay?
I'm okay. It's just life, right? So another part of life is good nutrition. It's one of those things we hear about all the time. And no matter what your age is, we know nutrition is important and gives you the energy and can help you control your weight. Oh, I feel like this is a lecture now for me. I'm going to need
well,
this.
We're coming. I mean, this is the time of year when we do what? The holiday 10 pounds extra. Is that what they say?
Is that all? Is that all? But, it's also important to prevent some diseases. And you hear things about osteoporosis and high blood pressure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers. There's a whole gamut of things, but managing your diet can be challenging. And then you put on top of it, when you're caregiving, you're managing the diet for somebody else. So it's really hard. We know it can make us better. And this week we are joined by a true professional. Allyssa Overett is with us. She is a registered dietitian with CICOA, and she's here. So we're going to jump right into it. But Allyssa, hello, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, I'm going to give the first question because I hear registered dietitian. I think, ooh, smart, fit, healthy, all of the things. And then I wonder, what is your day like? Because I just don't know how that would go down. So tell us a little bit about a typical day for you.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like you said, I'm Allie. I am one of the 2 registered dietitians within CICOA. And CICOA is a nonprofit organization that helps to make a difference in the lives of seniors, those with disabilities, but also the caregivers of that population. So we provide meal services, transportation services, home modifications, in-home care, case management services. So, dietitians can work in a really, really vast variety of roles. But at CICOA, I mainly do a lot of, menu writing, nutrient analysis, and then doing a lot of nutrition education and counseling out in the community.
Allie, something that I have noticed among seniors that I'm around, and the older I get, the more seniors I'm around. And what I find is they don't want to talk about food. They don't want you asking if you've eaten today. They love sweet. Now I'm putting a blanket over all of them, which is not fair, but loving sweets, not getting enough water. But they definitely don't like talking about, what they've eaten during the day. So are there barriers that exist when it comes to getting good nutrition for seniors?
Yeah, unfortunately, there are many, many barriers that exist that prevent the aging population in general from getting adequate nutrition. But some of those that you mentioned, those are real issues. For example, you said they like sweets. Well, actually, as you age, your taste buds and your taste perceptors change. So, there's the stereotype that grandma or grandpa always has hard candy around or something like that. Yeah. Well, that's usually because of their taste has changed and they usually can only taste, super, super sweet or super, super salty things that they prefer. So that you mentioned, that's a real thing, but there's a ton of barriers, unfortunately, some of those being like transportation, food insecurity. So they may not have access to healthy things near them. Food cost, of course, and then also like decreased mobility. So they're not able to get up and about the house maybe, or through the kitchen to cook, or they may not feel comfortable lifting a pot with water in it or something like that. And then of course, lack of social or familiar support, and then reduced social engagement. In addition, there's like some mental health related aspects that could affect someone's nutrition, like depression, not feeling, enough energy or will to get up and cook or ask for help for somebody to help you grocery shop. And then a dementia, forgetting if they ate, or maybe even forgetting that they have already eaten and eating twice or multiple times. So there's a handful of things that unfortunately can hinder seniors from getting adequate nutrition.
You said that about the hard candies, Allie, and all I could think was Werther's. those Werther's butterscotch candies. Or every year, my grandfather at this time of the year was begging us for Christmas to get him those chocolate covered cherries, which I'm not even sure it was a real cherry. It was like a red blob of sugar coated with other sugars. But that was our big thing, that we did for him every year, which looking back, I'm like, maybe I should have got him some spinach, but you do what you do. And so people do get picky. And you mentioned dementia. I know that's a whole other category that we could probably sit here and talk for 20 minutes about that. But what do you recommend for people who have picky eaters that they're caring for?
Yeah. So if the loved one that you're caring for has become picky, or maybe has always become picky, or has always been picky, something to consider, like I discussed previously, is that their taste does change. So maybe, they historically did not like a certain food. Maybe you could reintroduce it and see if they like it now, because their taste may have changed in a positive way. And then I also usually recommend not just to offer the new food by itself, try to pair it with foods they do like. Adding different new foods into dishes like a casserole or a soup or a stew or a smoothie, trying to add it along with foods they do like is a very helpful way to help your picky eaters. And then also trying a different varieties of the food. So they say they don't like bananas, but have they tried banana bread, or have they tried it dried, banana chips? Or maybe it's peaches. Have they tried them canned as opposed to fresh? Or have they tried the frozen berries as opposed to, maybe they just don't like them plain, but they'll eat them in a smoothie. So trying the different varieties of the food itself that they claim they don't like could also be helpful.
We just have a couple minutes left, but we do want to talk to help the caregivers too. And if you could give some tips to family caregivers who habitually make poor dietary choices for themselves due to stress or business, or they just don't have time. So they're going to grab the fast food and eat it in the car on the way to the next stop. So maybe some tips to help us slow down and make some better choices.
Yeah, of course. That's a really wonderful question, because when you're caring for somebody, it can be hard to try and care for yourself also. So, I always recommend to people to focus on adding things to their diet as opposed to restricting things that you feel you should be limiting. So maybe you'd like to eat fast food or something like that. Instead of no more fast food, I need to go cold turkey on the fast food, try to add things to your diet, like adding one fruit or one vegetable a day, or replacing one of your sodas a day with water or another beverage. Or replacing a processed snack. Maybe you're having chips or something, replace it with a more balanced snack, like a cheese stick or a yogurt or a hard-boiled egg, roasted nuts. These small steps of adding things can actually be very sustainable, much more sustainable. And these are tips that you can also use for your loved one.
Yeah, Allie, I've never heard anybody say that. People always talk about giving it away or limiting things. And I really, really like that approach, because I know at Joy's house, we work with a lot of aging adults, and we hear people all the time say, well, mom's 96. She probably shouldn't have a piece of pie. And I'm like, mom's 96. Give her a piece of pie.
Yeah, I would say she should have a piece of pie.
And have a green pepper. I mean, so I really, really like that. And I know there are dietary restrictions for different reasons, but I'm just kind of saying that, off the cuff here, but I really like that advice. So, trying to either replace or in addition is great advice. In closing, there is something really important that you all have at CICOA. I know you've got your one-on-one services and things that you do, but you also have some tip sheets. And so can you share with us just where people can get their hands on a tip sheet? Because there's more information you have to give. So
yeah, sure. Of course. So we actually developed some nutrition and activity tip sheets that are available on the CICOA website. And these are geared towards caregivers. So the tip sheets are found on our website, which is CICOA.org. And you can go under the services tab and select senior meals and nutrition. And when you scroll down to the nutrition education tab, you can click that, and there will be the 7 nutrition activity tip sheets, which include, how to fit more fruits and vegetables into your diet, how to prevent dehydration. We also have a 2-week sample menu for caregivers and some grocery shopping tips.
Oh, that's great. And I know that Joy, our producer, will make sure that we link from our Caregiver Crossing and Joy's house social media channels that we link to that as well. So great information. Allie Overett, you have been a wonderful guest. I hope you'll come back. Thanks for the work you do with CICOA for the help of so many. So we're grateful to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the rest of you, as we close the show, I just want to remind you that you can always contact me at Tina, Tina, at joyshouse.org if you need more information or if you have suggestions for the show. We'd love to hear from you. And in closing, we want to thank our sponsors who, without them, we wouldn't be able to be sharing here with you. But we've got AARP, the good folks at American Village, Majestic Care, Hoosiers Work for Health, Comfort Care, and Key Bank. And so we're grateful to all of them for their support. For the rest of you, happy holiday season. And we will be back next week on Caregiver Crossing.